Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. Even though it says Spurs Talk Show on the overlay, we're getting rid of that. Now, there we go. We're better now. I hope everyone is happy and healthy, doing the things they love. I'm going to have to close the window because the neighbours are doing some gardening. Guys, do us a favour. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content. And by the way, yesterday's like game from you lot was just absolutely mental. By far the most viewed stream we've done. By far the most liked stream we've done. The vast majority came after we finished. So grateful. The channel is is growing so fast, and it's all thanks to you guys for coming around every day and allowing us to have a bit of fun and talk about whatever's going on in the world. But carry on smashing like, keep doing your admin. Really, really appreciate you. If you are interested in the audio platforms, then you can actually watch this on Spotify and you can listen to it on Apple Pods as well. They're uploaded straight after the show's finished. So if that's your thing, then check it out over there. If you do, please leave us a 5-star review. Johnny, how are you, my man?
Yeah, listen, I just want to echo everything that Sean just said there. Thanks so much. We had over 9,000, nearly 9,500 views on our show yesterday, which is crazy for a channel this young. And the subscribers, guys, we are so near now to 4,000. Unbelievable. I think we've picked up almost 200 nearly in the last couple of days, if not more. If you are here for the first time, guys, please hit the subscribe button and follow us and hit that notification bell just so that you know when we're going to go, because life being what it is, Sean and I never know when we're going to go from 9 in the morning to 9 at night. Someone did ask me in the chat the other day, is it just retired people that watch your shows? And I said, you are joking, right? I mean, really? No, the demographic here is from about, we looked on the analytics, is from around about 20, 24, 25 up to about 65. And it's all the way across. It's spread all the way out. So thank you, guys. And from literally all over the world, Peru, Mexico, USA, Asia, Scandinavia, you name it, we're there. We haven't got to very much Africa yet, but we should be there soon. Listen, guys, the big story.
Only one place to start, Johnny.
What is that? Yeah.
Sunny, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, this isn't a Spurs show, but let's be honest, right? You know, if you've been watching the Premier League for the last 10 years, that smile has lit up the Premier League over these last 10 years. He had a bit of a tricky start where Pochettino had to convince him to stay. The first year wasn't easy for him, but boy, he never looked back after that. The most successful partnership in Premier League history between Sonny and Harry Kane. It'll never be beaten. They had
it's so far ahead, isn't it?
They had just a telepathic understanding. Two great players. And without those players, God only knows where Spurs would have been, because they single-handedly, kept us in everything, or kept us in Europe, a Champions League, to the final.
He got the Puskas as well.
He got the Puskas Award, exactly. That incredible, memorable goal.
Pretty sure he got 20 GA, more than 20 GA in every season bar his first at Tottenham.
Yeah. Do you know what I remember? It's quite funny. I was in the East Stand against Burnley. Sonny picked up the ball and he's running with the ball, and I'm shouting to my son, pass the ball, pass the ball. And he's still running, pass the bloody ball. And as he was getting, I was getting more and more irate that he hadn't passed the ball. And then he put the ball in the net. And I think my son turned and said to me, and that's why he didn't pass the ball. What the goal? I mean, it was just an incredible, magical moment for a Spurs fan, or if you were a football fan. And, you know, I appreciate goals from every club, and that includes Arsenal, when you see a magical goal scored. And that was one of the best I've ever seen, in my lifetime as a Spurs fan. It was incredible. Some will say it was against Burnley. It doesn't matter. They're professional footballers. He literally beat 3/4 of the team getting to that goal. I mean, obviously Ricky Villa would be the one, that dribble in the box and the importance of it. But no, that for me was magical. And his smile, I mean, the smile just lit up the place, didn't it? The
haven't
only
seen enough
time,
of it haven't seen too much of it since Harry Kane departed, really. And mate, it's the right time for him. Like we can spend an hour talking about the amazing things that he's done, but at the same time, I think it's beautifully respectful of Tottenham Hotspur to have allowed him to have made the decision. Although at the same time, if his decision had been to have stayed, I would have probably been saying, "Come on, Tottenham, what are we doing here?" That's not the sort of thing that other clubs do. Like Sir Alex Ferguson knows the time to say goodbye to all the legends that they've had. I'm glad that the decision has come where it's come, when it's come. I think it's right that his last competitive game for Tottenham will have been lifting the trophy. That's just an amazing way to see it off. And now for his last sort of time wearing the Tottenham shirt probably is going to be in Korea tomorrow. It'll be teary, sad day, whatever happens with Newcastle. But it's not like hopefully it's not a goodbye. Hopefully it's a see you later. I'd love it if he came back and was an ambassador to the football club once he hangs up his boots full time. And it's exciting for him to move on to LA, and if that's where he's going to end up, it looks like the talks are advanced there. And I think it's a perfect story, mate. It's a perfect story that he came in young, didn't speak a word of English. He's one of the most popular guys in the Premier League. There's not a single fan out there, I think, that's ever had a bad word to say about him, apart from maybe a couple of Everton fans when he broke
I was going to say the Everton
leg, their player's leg, that one tackle. But even Sonny was distraught. He cried his eyes out when that happened,
Right.
Shows you what sort of a humble, respectful fella he is. And look, onwards, upwards for him, onwards and upwards for Tottenham. And I think that this exit, as I say, put the sentiment to one side, back to business. I think Tottenham now will hopefully, whether they're going to find an out-and-out left winger because they've got Odebear and got Matisse Tell, and they spent quite a lot of money on those two, and that's probably what they look for.
Isn't Odebear more of a right-sided midfielder, mate?
I don't know, to be honest, mate. Like I at Burnley, he played on the left, but he can play on the right. Last season at Tottenham, he played on the right. He's even trialled in the 10, bit of a failed experiment. I think he'll be more likely to play sort of a little bit of wherever they want until they figure it out. I'm not sure what his natural position is, but if you've got Kudus and Johnson, then if you're trying to find minutes for Odebear and Tell, it'll probably be more off the left. And for me now, it'd be wonderful if Tottenham can just go and find, I don't think you need to, if we're only going to bring in one more forward, I don't think you necessarily need to get rid of Sonny, Solomon and Richarlison. But if you can get someone in who's a versatile forward who can do a little bit of the 9, the false 9, maybe a wing play as well, someone like a Leao will be awesome. I know Rodrigo's never going to happen. Maybe someone like an Eze that can play in the 10 and off the left, and we're going to talk about Eze in a little while, then I think that Tottenham could probably keep one of the other two, like either Solomon or Richarlison. I would rather they all left. And for me personally,
I want to tell you, Sean, the one thing is, like we spoke about, wages being an issue, for many clubs, Man United trying to get rid of a huge, a large bunch of players who are on big wages to get them off the books. Sonny's wage was the biggest wage by far at Spurs, right? Clearly. So yet again, our wage bill percentage will crash now.
Yeah.
We should now be Spurs. There should be absolutely no excuse now. If Spurs go in for a major signing to say we are going to make you the number one player, we're going to make Cuti Romero and you the number one most paid. Sign Cuti to a new contract. Sign him up. Whoever that may be, if it's Eze on the biggest contract at the club. It's time now. It's absolutely time now. 100%. And there isn't a better time. There isn't a better time. Just for me, it wasn't a better time for Ange Postecoglou to drop the mic and leave the building because he nowhere to go from there. The same with Sonny. And as you said, what better way to go out than those thousands and thousands of Korean fans? I know a lot of people get annoyed with them. I'm going to miss all those Korean fans. I hope that even though Sonny is gone, he's going to go to LA where there's huge Korean community, that they still turn up at the Lane because I've got used to. I've liked their characters. There's a lot of fun characters.
Oh, they're great. And honestly, as the sort of the hedonist that I am, mate, when you see it's like February and it's snowing outside and you see the Korean girls rocking up with short skirts and not much more. It's much nicer, much nicer environment to be around than it is to see 50, 40, 60-year-old men with 3 teeth in their head, going, you Spurs. It's nice to see a couple of Korean girls knocking about. So I hope that whoever we get in next, maybe it'll be a Helga. Maybe we can go and get ourselves a Hugo Larsson or a Morten Hulman. Get the Scandinavians in. Let's change it up a little bit. As long as the girls come back, mate, it's my day out. I enjoy it,
Well, listen, we're going to miss him. A sad farewell. Tomorrow will be an emotional day. Yeah. And I woke up, early this morning seeing the news, and I was happy and sad combined. But anyway.
No, I'm happy. I'm not sad because I think.
No, I'm happy and sad. I'm happy that he's going because it's the time.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. But I'm just more happy because I think that it's always difficult to say goodbye, but the reality is that if he stayed an extra year, then he would have declined and people would remember him differently. So I think it's absolutely the right thing, and I think it's goodbyes don't have to be.
I know, Sean, how are you going to cope, though, mate, in 10 years' time, when I have to say goodbye to the Football League?
Mate, given my current state of health, bro, I think I'll be out of here in a couple of years' time, mate. So you'll be inheriting football. You have to find someone else to take over the reins from me.
Oh, you're going to do a Lubo. You leave me your will.
Oh, dear. Yeah, side joke there. Side
funny,
joke.
Man. Right, let's get...
Guys, let's... sorry, Johnny.
I was going to say, let's move on now to some other news. Do you want to? Should we come back to Spurs after and move on to some other clubs?
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about Eberechi because it's kind of Tottenham, but it's more Arsenal and Crystal Palace. Oh, by the way, actually, before we get there, on yesterday's show, we talked a little bit about we started off with the crazy wild story that is, in my opinion, a demonstration that John Textor and Marinakis have been in cahoots for a long time, and that part of the John Textor exit and all of the other shenanigans that we spoke about yesterday, right? I think it's clear. It's clear that that didn't start. That relationship didn't just let's create some idea now after I've left. Because this started ages ago. Anyway, so I put the video out just before I came on live with you, Johnny. I put the video out on Sean Butler TV, and I titled it a little bit clickbaity, called "It Stinks" with a picture of the two of them up there. Yeah. The video did very well, but it was full of Nottingham Forest fans who were coming in calling me every name under the sun for my tinfoil hat. 3 hours after that happened, Johnny, 3 hours after we put the mic down
here he goes, another one.
Matt Turner left Nottingham Forest. Where do you reckon he went to, Johnny, yesterday?
Let me see. Couldn't be Leon, could it?
It could just be Leon. What are we doing here?
It's like a spider web. It's like a spider web of intrigue. Botafogo.
They're not even trying to hide it, mate. If I'm Crystal Palace, if I'm Parish, I want that investigated. Obviously not like writing letters of complaint and stuff. But if I'm Palace, I'm thinking we've had an owner of our football club that has been in cahoots with the guy who we always liked, always wanted to work with, who ended up taking our spot on a technicality in the Europa League. It stinks. It stinks with a capital S, mate. It's outrageous. And now Turner's gone to Leon. They're not even trying to hide it, bro. They're not even trying to hide it.
Robin says there's nothing dodgy going on here, right? Look, I don't know. I'm not quite sure, Robin, how you think there's nothing going on because,
No, he's laughing. It's a sarcastic thing.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Beg your pardon. I was going to say. He's laughing. Look, if you weren't here yesterday, listen, we're not going to go through it all again because we're going to do a show about that one. We're going to do like a half-hour special on that one. But basically, the link, Marinak, having denied that there was any sort of link between trades and deals between Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Botafogo and Leon, they're all interlinked. And the upshot of it is that Crystal Palace are getting screwed and Marinakis and John Textor have all got into bed with each other, doing deals, money going left, right and centre, back and forth. And Marinakis is going to back John Textor in buying a multi-club ownership. It's short and sweet, and we got called out for talking absolute twaddle yesterday. No
Tommy K. Tommy K.
Bobby K, yeah.
Absolute
and then what happened? As soon as we got off the bloody stream, they announced another deal. Turner, obviously, former Arsenal goalkeeper as well, before he came to Forest.
By the way, just in the interest of balance, I got it wrong when I said about Danilo coming from
you were wrong. Yeah.
Rio Ave or Botafogo to Forest. It wasn't. It was. I knew there was a link. It was Palmeiras sold him to Forest. Forest sold him back to Botafogo. So that was the link between the two clubs in Textor and Marinakis.
While we're at Forest, because they're looking to do big business. Douglas Luiz wants to move to the Premier League, and Nottingham Forest are leading the race. They're doing everything they can to secure the midfielder, despite interest from other clubs, and that's from Football Italia, Alfredo Padula. So that's another good acquisition. Another good acquisition. Forest are serious. I mean, look, for them, being, if they were in the conference, they could easily win it. The same for Crystal Palace. I actually said this, I think Crystal Palace would benefit if they got demoted to the conference, because I think they'll win it under Glasner, which would mean they would be guaranteed to be in Europe for 2 seasons running, because then they would automatically be into the Europa League. So, but they shouldn't stand down. 100% they shouldn't.
100%. It might end up like, sometimes a bad thing can be turned into a good thing, right? But just on principle alone, I think that there's an argument to be made. I think that story definitely needs more attention. Obviously, like Johnny, myself, I mean, Connor leaving Nomics is sort of kept these. He's involved in the backroom stuff with sending me links and things, keeping me informed. So like the three of us are just putting together the stories that are out there. So we might get a few things wrong and might exaggerate on a couple of things. But for sure, for me, if I'm a Palace fan, I'm apoplectic, and I think that the club has a responsibility to challenge it, because there's definitely no smoke without fire. Can I
just say to Nottingham Forest fans, right? It's not to you personal as a club, but I think it's the owner has brought this upon himself. Some of the antics, racing onto the pitch to attack Nuno when Nuno's been absolutely outstanding this season. But there definitely is a feeling of anti-Forest sentiment out there, not just from Spurs fans, but other fans, because there's a definite sense of injustice that's been done to Crystal Palace, whoever you support, even if you're a Championship supporting club. So, they got to live with it anyway.
100%. 100%. Look, in the video I did yesterday on Sean Butler TV, I got absolute pelters from saying, I'll just get over the Morgan Gibbs-White thing. Like, I never even wanted Morgan Gibbs-White. So, it's not really nothing about that. It's just an interesting story, and one that we're going to keep probing. Johnny, I wanted to quickly sort of pivot across to.
Can I just interrupt there? There's been a lot of demand since last night's Turkish fiasco, where the viewers at the end, after 3 spins, got Fenerbahce, that we should be spinning again. Maybe if we get time, we'll do another Turkish spin later, because it was such good fun.
I don't even remember any of the 3 names of the teams that I got.
I've got them written down. If you want me to try and attempt to pronounce them, we'll do that later. Go on, let's go. Yeah. Where are we pivoting to?
Well, I was going to go to Eze, right? But actually, just quickly, a more pressing story that's breaking is that Chelsea have hit a roadblock in their pursuit of Xavi Simons. RB Leipzig have rejected the chance to sign any Chelsea players in a swap deal and are demanding £60 million cash up front. Your team, Johnny, your Leipzig. What are we saying here? What are we saying here? Is it a cop block?
It's a cop block.
On that basis, where is it? Here we go.
Just when you thought your squad was getting proper, that player won't leave. They call that cock blocker.
Yeah.
Financial cock block.
Yeah, it's my team's cock blocking. And rightly so. I mean, you can't sell. I just can't see how you can sell Sesko, Simons, and Openda, right, is of interest to Aston Villa. You can't sell all three of those and have a. You just can't have it. It's just honestly. People are complaining about your timing, Sean.
Yeah. I've got so many videos. I have to scroll through them.
I know. He's trying his best. He's trying.
I've got about 40 other videos that I haven't dropped onto the Spurs on the Football Inc. yet, but maybe I will. Things like this, mate. I've got a question for you, mate. Would you rather RB Leipzig sell Sesko or Simons if you had to lose one?
Sesko, because I've got Openda.
Okay. Do you think Sesko's going to be done soon? I mean, apparently Newcastle United have sent over the official bid, 75 million euros and 5 up front, which is apparently, according to all reports, in line with the number that Leipzig wanted for the guy. You think Newcastle are just like, we can't get cop blocked anymore. We have to get one of these done.
I mean, listen, I understand why RB Leipzig are cop blocking Sesko, Xavi Simons, because unless it's a sensational bid, they don't need to send it. But, you know, he might have one leg in Newcastle, but his heart and his brain is in Manchester. Look, there's one thing that Newcastle can do. You know, I'm not saying for any minute that there's skullduggery afoot, but how would you like a holiday home in Saudi Arabia, Mr. Sesko? I mean, off the books, obviously. And maybe a couple of servants we can throw in there and maybe a private jet. There are other things that you can offer. And I think Newcastle are going to go all guns blazing, offer him all the gold he can eat to get this deal across the line. Because if they get blocked for this one and he goes to Manchester United, there's going to be, honestly, I hate to think what it's going to do to the Newcastle fans. I think the thing is, Manchester United, whilst they really want to do the deal and whilst the player wants to go, right now they need to release a few assets desperately. Yeah. Whether they'll try and speed up Garnacho to Chelsea, which is Garnacho is doing so much twerking for Chelsea, it's ridiculous. He's been doing it since January.
How does he go there and play though?
I don't know. He just wants to go there and get paid and, you know, be in London. You know, dye his beard blonde or something. I don't know. I don't know what he wants to dye. I mean, maybe he'll have a zebra stripe next time we see him coming out. Who knows? But he's not concentrating on the football. But Sesko is high demand. If one of them fails with Sesko, where does that leave the other? I mean, Man United maybe can get away with it.
Yeah.
If Newcastle lose,
if Newcastle don't get Sesko, and if there's any change, I mean, currently it looks like Isak is staying currently, but that's a story that can change in a heartbeat, isn't it?
Well,
if they were to keep hold of Isak and sign Sesko, then I think Newcastle fans all of a sudden are like much chirpier, you know, fog on the time. But the reality is, I think that if they miss out on Sesko, they have to keep Isak. Otherwise, Newcastle will. I think Newcastle will, unless they can bring in a couple, mate. Like it's the same thing we spoke about this before. Like if you're going to get big money for your players, but you can't then replace them with big name signings because you just don't have the draw, and you've got teams like Chelsea that don't seem to have to ever promise anybody minutes because everybody just wants to go there and they're a bigger draw with bigger probability of winning things, etc. Like Newcastle could end up like finishing 9th this year, 8th this year, you know, out of Europe again.
I mean, listen, look, if that fails, they got Nick Walter-Made, right? Bayern Munich have put in 2 failed bids, and they've been rejected by Stuttgart. Christian Falk of Bayern Insider is saying that Manchester United are seriously interested in the player. Are they tossing two up here just to play the player, or is that really seriously? That would be more into their price range where they are right at this minute, without selling the players. Like if they get rid of two or three of the players, Sesko's going. If they don't, is he the next best thing? Because the interest in Ollie Watkins makes absolutely no sense to pay £60 million. That's what Villa want for the player.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, Walter Mardo, we've spoken about him. If you watched him, any of you guys in there watched him in the under 21s, he was unbelievable. Personally, I think he'll end up staying in Germany at Bayern. I think Bayern will eventually cough up. You know, Bayern have lost Florian Wirtz. They thought that deal was done and dusted. They spent a year courting Florian Wirtz and his dad, and then in the end, he chose Liverpool. Then they've lost Musiala to injury. They sold Tel. They sold Sane to Turkey. So they need the player. So I think Walter Mardi, despite all of the interest from all the other clubs, I think he's going to go there, back to Germany.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just seen one from Plettigol this evening. This just now even has said in the last hour that Manchester United have inquired about the prospect of signing Alex Isak. The player is adamant he wants to join Liverpool. I mean, talk about like pecking order politics, mate. Like United have got no chance, and they haven't got the money. So I don't know what on God's green earth that's about. But Plettigol has said it, so you know it makes you kind of sit up and take note a little bit. But I think Manchester United are just doing that stuff to sort of throw cats.
They're going to buy a striker. Look, they need a striker. They 100% need a striker. Hoyland, you know, doing he should be in the cop blocking section because, you know, he keeps saying, I'm very happy here. I'm not moving after his €77 million move. But the truth is, he's going to end up maybe at RB Leipzig if they sell Sesko. And the surprise news again is the Lookman deal definitely looks like it's off at the moment from Atalanta because they will not meet Atalanta's price target. I think what's happened, Sean, Atalanta have seen the prices that players are going for in Europe and thinking, well, hang on a minute, you're offering 30 million plus 5 add-ons. No. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the price goes up. But if Lookman does go, you can see potentially Hoyland going back to Atalanta, who were the club that United bought him from in the first place. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, I think if Rasmus Hoyland is realistic, he might have said the other day, was it 2 days ago or yesterday? He said, or there was stories out saying he wants to stay and fight for his place. Like, if there's truth to that, again, like we say this all the time, right? You have to have 3 things to happen for a transfer to take place, right? The buying club, the selling club have to agree a price, and the player has to want to move. If Hoyland doesn't want to leave Manchester because he doesn't think he's going to get the same money at Inter, he might be begging for a loan deal or something like that. But either way, how do you square the circle if Garnacho doesn't leave until the last week of the window? Because I think Garnacho will be a late transfer deal. Right?
Yeah, probably.
Antony's not done yet. And so technically, Man United have already got too many forwards on their books. A lot of them they don't want. They don't even want Josh Xerxes either, for what it's worth. And I've always said that guy's a bum. But I'm just sitting there thinking Manchester United might end up wanting it. Like no one's talking about United having a cop blocky kind of window because they got Cunha done really early and they eventually got Mbumo. But they might have all the ambition in the world to bring in a striker, Johnny. But I don't know where. Like, if you can't force these players out, bro. You can't force them out. You can make it very uncomfortable for them. But Manchester United might have ambition. They might also have an oversaturated squad roster at the moment. But on top of that, they don't have the cash. Unless what Ratcliffe was saying in March about December, they were almost shutting down the entire... Unless there's some sort of... Like, I don't know, unless there's some investment that's coming in, Ratcliffe is putting more money in, or the Glazers are kind of releasing some capital. Unless something has happened that changes their financial situation, then I find it actually incredulous that United were doing what they did with their cost cutting just to go now and drop 200 million quid. The only excuse for not paying like for not putting your staff on the plane, for like cutting out the whatever it was, like the tea bags or something in the canteen, and not giving your
the tea
on
lady.
match day, the Christmas bonuses, all of that. The only excuse for that is if you genuinely are on your knees. But if you then have the ability to go and drop 200 million quid on additional players, then you are in the. I don't know how much the fans will care, but ultimately it looks really scummy behaviour to people that have less than you, people that don't have enough money to pay their bills, that you're taking away their 50 quid Christmas bonus so that you can have a champagne in the boardroom. It looks really proper bad.
I've got to be honest as well. I mean, Amorim sending out so many mixed signals. When 1 minute saying they never play for the club again, then saying, well, you know, if we can't get the money, they'll be back in the squad. And then saying they will not be, when they come back from America, they will be kept away from the rest of them and they will be ostracised from everybody. So I can't quite work that out. Meanwhile, Manchester United apparently are seriously considering signing another midfielder in their squad if a good opportunity arises this summer. Internal talks have been focused mainly on a new striker, a goalkeeper, which we've spoken about many times, and a midfielder. Do you not think they're missing something here? Do you not think that they need a couple of centre-backs? Yoro's really good. I'm not sure about Dele Alli.
I think Dele Alli will work in a back three. So I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, you're right. His head's massive, right? He's still there.
Harry Maguire, and Alessandro Martinez. But if you are going to rely on a back three the majority of the time, which I think is what Amorim's intentions to do, then you probably need 6 centre backs. You know, you probably need, or at least 5 of top quality, or very good quality. So I think there is an argument to say that they could do with another one because.
Here we go again. Listen to this, right? I think there's a game going on here. We'll come to the super chats in 2 seconds. Now they're saying Nick Woltemade is wanted by Newcastle, but would prefer to stay in Germany, with Bayern Munich, as I said before, having 2 bids already rejected. Christian Falk doesn't know what he's doing because he keeps changing his mind. First of all, it was Man United, then it's Newcastle, and now he's saying that in his mind he wants to stay at Bayern Munich. So we shall see. Should we go to the super chats, guys?
Yeah, no worries, mate. Hang on 1 second. Gerald Goldsmith, big up to you, my man. Super chat saying, big up, Sean and Johnny. Come on, you Spurs. The only way is up. Hey, or up the Arsenal. I don't know. Up. Not sure what it is, but thank you very much, Gerald. Absolute legend, mate. Very, very cool of you. Thank you, buddy. Roy Viken, my man, with a super chat says, the problem with us Norwegians is that there are so few of us and almost half are men. Almost half are men.
Listen, when we were in Norway, we definitely saw an abundance of females.
It
was a nice balance. We didn't notice only when we got into the stands and we were chased out of the home end did we notice
by the drunk Phil Mitchell. Remember him?
Yeah,
that was hilarious. Yeah, the guy looked just like Phil Mitchell when on EastEnders when he's doing that I'm an alcoholic thing. Appreciate you, Roy. I'm a massive fan of Scandinavians, mate. Both the men and the women. Every time I've ever been anywhere and met them,
I met a lot on holiday. And if you're listening, and one of the guys that I met in Parma, good to see you guys. It was nice meeting you. Ulrika Johnson lying in the bath, apparently
having a G&T.
Listening to
after my own heart, Ulrika.
Listening to this show, right? What better way to do it? And there's yet another one.
Thank you, Ulrika. It says Butler for Spurs, Chiefs, Scouts. Don't know about that, mate, but I appreciate the kind words. Very nice for you, Ulrika. Thank you very much indeed. And also, Marky's come in. Marky over in. I think Marky's Essex. I think. Well, we're picking you up, mate. The choo-choo train. We're going over to Australia. And we're coming back to pick you up in Essex. Let us know where you want us to pick you up from, and the train can begin. Choo choo!
Guys, if you're in the chat, please hit the like button, guys. Your like game is superb. If you're here for the first time, hit the subscribe button, and if you are here for the first time, please tell us who you support and where you're from, because we're trying to spread our wings and find out where everyone is.
Yeah, the channel started out with mostly Tottenham fans, but we can tell now there's a lot more people coming in. Here's a Newcastle fan in the house. Jake, he's saying Newcastle cooking right now. Well, it's about time you turn the hob on, mate, because until recently, it's like you pulled out the matches and they were all damp squids.
Blown out, Sean. It kept getting blown out. It's like that fucking won't ignite. The ignition switch is gone. You lost 7. I won't listen. I don't want to.
Ah! Did you get the gas? Did you get again?
Can't get a fucking gas going. No, I mean, listen. I feel for you because we're Spurs fans. We've suffered for donkey's years, right?
Yeah, we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat.
We're worse. At least you're linked with all these big guys and fail. We just are interested, FC. Whilst we're interested, FC, eBay FC, aka Chelsea, are still doing about that Xavi Simons contract. Xavi Simons has removed RB Leipzig from his Instagram bio, as he sent a clear message over wanting a transfer to Chelsea. Negotiations are at an advanced stage, but there's still a lot more work to be done. Still, Simons has made up his mind about leaving Leipzig and won't sign a new contract, and he wants away. That's Fabrizio Romano. It seems like everyone wants to go to Chelsea. And I don't know what, sit in the bench, or I don't know what. Alexandro Garnacho is keen on his transfer. It was his priority in January, and it remains his number one priority this summer. Chelsea are considering making a bid late in the month, with the Argentinian waiting for the Blues his priority. Could you imagine if Chelsea don't bother coming in? Listen to this one. You'll love this one.
Yeah, just quickly. So there's so Garnacho not maybe moving to Chelsea, but Antony, according to Ben Jacobs, there's a feeling from Mateus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo, who's fighting for the same spot, by the way, and other senior Manchester United players, that Antony is a good fit in this system, despite the Brazilian pushing for a move and despite Amorim telling him to go. Is there a little bit of player revolt here against like Ruben Amorim really hasn't done things the way that most managers do. He's like, I feel like he's a little bit, he's got sort of jumped up a year in promotion to a new caliber. And I think he might have upset a few or ruffled a few feathers with the way that he's gone about talking about his team, because apparently the teammates here are saying, we like Antony and he'd be a good fit, so let's not rush him out the door.
Well, who don't like him? Jim Ratcliffe. Because, hey, mate, you're on serious wages. We need to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Amorim don't want him, but the players do. I mean, going back to some strange stuff with Amorim, and I rate Amorim, by the way, as a coach, funny enough, but that video of him peering through the fence in the distance, watching training, it was like the pervert from numbers. It's like the pervert from number 67 looking through the curtains, right? What's going on? What's going on next door? I mean, if you want to watch from afar, just sit on the bench or don't take it. You don't need to go out of the actual pitch area and start watching through a wire mesh. It just seems like really, really weird. One more player, Chelsea, and you're going to love this one. You're going to love this one, Sean. You never guess the connection. Chelsea and what other club?
Strasbourg.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Wait a minute. I think we've got to play this one. I haven't played it for a while because it's all about.
It's all about the PSR. It's all about the FFP. It's all about the loopholes. It's all about the money.
Talk to me.
Yeah. Chelsea are looking to sign Emmanuel Emega, right, from Strasbourg in the very near future before his value skyrockets to as much as 50 million euros. This is according to Matt Law, who 100%, no matter what he says, is definitely not a Chelsea fan.
Definitely not a Chelsea fan.
Definitely not a Chelsea fan. The fact that he calls out Spurs and Arsenal, but he's definitely not a Chelsea fan. What is that one, Sean? I mean, what are they going to sign him for?
Player's name?
Emmanuel Emega, Emegha. I mean, what are they going to sign him for? 5 million, then sell him for 50?
Yeah, it's even the way that they layer these value traps into the media by making out like there's no problem with it later on. So we'll buy you for 5 million. We'll be able to sell you for 25, 50, whatever into Saudi Arabia. Let's not pretend like Clear Lake Capital are not also invested in by the PIF fund. This the amount of corruption, the amount of like legal open armed corruption that is going on with certain clubs. It's like they've sat down together and gone, have you seen how many loopholes there are in that FFP? We can take the fucking piss, we can. Absolutely mega.
And they're all
mega. We get that player from Strasbourg. His name's Omega. We'll get him out there for 50 million. We'll send him out to Saudi. He'll come back through Turkey and no problem.
What we buy for one, we'll sell for 50. Listen, we need an eBay FC. We need a jingle, a Chelsea jingle, because Chelsea are involved every day. No club is discussed more. We might be Spurs fans, but no club is discussed more about the ins and outs of dealing than Chelsea. Yeah, I haven't even finished. I'll give you another one. Chelsea have just signed top talented attacking midfielder Isak McGilvey for their academy. Widely regarded.
Who?
Isak McGilvary. Right? Isak McGilvary for their academy. Widely regarded as one of the most promising talents in the UK at his age. Chelsea are absolutely delighted to have won the race for his signature, where most of the clubs in Europe and in the Premier League were fighting for his signature. Yet another one to put in the creche, right? Here's another one for you. Armando Broja is set to join Burnley on a permanent deal, while Mark Gui is going to Sunderland on loan. Yao Felix has left for Al Nassr, as we know, and Chelsea will not stop there with Christopher Nkunku, Raheem Sterling, and Nicholas Jackson all being forced out the club now to try and find new clubs. I mean, it's hard to keep up with what's going on.
Yep. Listen, by the way, there's rumours that there's you saw about Broja leaving Chelsea and going to Burnley. Who is it that owns Burnley? Mike Pace.
Well,
Mike Pace is the owner.
They're buying Espanyol.
They're buying Espanyol, but they're also that's AL. So ALK Capital is Mike Pace's chief investment vehicle. ALK Capital's sports vehicle is called Velocity Sports. Now they're doing the Espanyol deal through Velocity Sports.
Obviously.
But there's rumours that Clear Lake Capital have got a side venture that are invested into ALK Capital. And so once again, I don't know, I have to do my research on that one, but once again, Broja from Chelsea to Burnley, is that just another way of pushing numbers around on a piece of paper that can also be justified as making a little bit of sense? I don't know, Johnny, call me a conspiracy theorist, but mate, I'm going to get a tinfoil hat. That's what my next DHgate purchase is going to be, a tinfoil hat.
We need to have a Chelsea, eBay FC, and Jarrell Hatto has started his medical yesterday, hopes to complete it today, and doing his transfer. It looks like it's gone and done. One player that's not leaving Italy and not leaving Inter Milan, apparently, at the moment for the Premier League. This is going to be a big blow for probably Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Jan Bissek has rejected the chance to join Crystal Palace when the deal looked like it was progressing, as he is instead looks to stay at Inter Milan this summer. That's going to be a big blow. I mean, if they can't replace Guehi, then they probably won't want to sell Guehi to Liverpool. Would you not say?
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. Jan Bissek is
he's a monster.
Talent. He's a brilliant player. I would love to see him at Tottenham, but if he's staying at Inter, I don't know what's happened with that Diamandi deal. Is that Ousmane Diamandi? Is he still leaving? Ousmane Diamandi. Is he leaving? Is it Sporting or Porto? Sporting. To come, because he was linked with Palace. If that doesn't happen, then here's one for you, mate. Tottenham were linked with him yesterday, but I think you were right when you said it doesn't really make that much sense because
Makes no sense.
at the Araujo deal because he's right-sided, right-footed. I think that you could make the argument that you could bring him in as a right-back and then have Jed Spence on the left or versatile, whatever. But actually, if you're bringing in a versatile player that can play centre-back as well, you don't need another right-footer. I completely agree with you. But then he was linked with Liverpool as well. So if Crystal Palace say, if we can't replace Gahey, then we're not selling Gahey, we'll run his contract down and try and convince him over the next 12 months to stay, pending on how the season goes. On that basis, could Liverpool pivot to one of the other guys? If Liverpool came in for a Bisek, he would leave. He might not want to leave to go to Palace, but he would leave to go to Liverpool. Would Araujo go to Liverpool? 100%. Would Diamandi go to Liverpool? 100%. So I think that Liverpool are in a slightly different boat where they can essentially pull out any size fishing rod they want and pick up the fish that they need.
One that I hang on to, one of two or three signings I hang on to that I'd love to see at Spurs seems to have hit a roadblock.
Johnny, can you hold the fort for 2 seconds?
Yeah. PSG's Kolo Muani, right, to Juventus on a permanent deal looks to have stalled, open up the opportunity for Premier League clubs to now sign the Paris Saint-Germain striker. Now, we were told that the deal was done. We saw Damien Comoli talking yesterday about how they're going to sign a 5-year deal. There was no rush to tie up the deal. And I said, absolute crap. That means that they're in a panic. And then this deal has come out today from La Parisienne. The issue here is having spent 90 million signing him from Eintracht Frankfurt, they loaned him out for 3.6 million plus his wages to Juventus. Juventus want to tie up the deal. They just don't have the money to do the deal right now. They're trying to get rid of, as we said before, Vlahovic, Douglas Luiz, a couple of others. They want to get rid of. They need the money. They don't have the money. Could Spurs come in for him? Could Man United come in for him? Could Newcastle come in for him? I mean, listen, he would be perfect for me as a Spurs fan. As a Spurs fan, Kolo Muani could play bang down the middle as a centre forward. He's that good down through the middle. He's played through the middle a lot. He's not like Matthias Tell, who's a bit lightweight, and we just think he can play down there. But the fact that, as I said, Sean, you weren't here, that Damien Comoli was saying there's no rush, we're doing the deal. And now, according to two different sources, one in Italy and one in France, that the deal has stalled and is now opened the door for other Premier League clubs. He could go to any Premier League club in the top 6 or top 8, if you include Spurs and Man United, and do a fantastic job. For me, when they're asking only 45 million. And when you look, what's he, 26 years of age at the moment? When you look, he's in his prime. He's not injury prone. And I just think he's the standout. He's absolutely the standout guy for value right now if you're looking for a striker. I'd rather have him than Sesko, personally.
Kolo Muani said the different type of players. Like Sesko's more just a straight and out 9. It depends what Tottenham are looking for. Like
any club, mate, any club.
I think that Kolo Muani is when he's one of those players that when he's on, he's unplayable. But when he like, I don't know if he's 100% focused all the time. I think he can have games when he's a little bit like sloppy.
So that's not nitpicking, Sean. I mean, if you're looking at the Club World Cup, he went to the Club World Cup. He was their standout best player.
He only got 8 goals his time at Juve.
Yeah, he only got there in January.
Yeah, I know.
End of January, he got there, 8 goals, and was a massive success, which is why they want to keep him.
Listen, yeah, 100%. But I guess that's the bigger question is, right, like why, if they want to keep him so much, why are they...
They come got the money, mate.
Yeah, I know. But then be a little bit more like they're taking the piss. If they think that he's so good, then sitting there saying there's no rush. Well, and this is, I hope that their laziness, I hope that their kind of confidence that because he said he wants to go there, that will come back to backfire. I'm not saying, listen, I'm not in any way saying he's a bad player. I think that he has moments in him where he's fantastic and he's top draw and he's like unplayable, but he definitely has moments in him when he's sloppy, 100% in my opinion.
Well, I think a lot of players do, but I think form is temporary, class is permanent, and I think that he definitely is a classy player. I think it's time, Sean, to take
Before I quickly just talk about Eberechi Eze, mate.
Right.
So Arsenal apparently. So first and foremost, everyone was told yesterday that the July 31st was the end of his release clause, the 60 plus 8
days,
release clause.
Yeah.
But that apparently is not the case, and that is still in play. According to a couple of reports out this morning, Arsenal are lining up an opening bid worth over £50 million for Crystal Palace midfielder Eberechi Eze. Do you think that Arsenal... I was listening to some Arsenal content, listening to Dan Potts this morning, and he was saying that, he thinks that they're really still weak down the left-hand side and that they would probably be better off going for a Rodrigo over an Eze, or ideally getting both so that Eze can play more as a 10 competition for Odegaard, and then if need be play out on the left, but they should get Rodrigo as well, who's just a natural sort of take-on specialist down the left-hand side. To be an Arsenal fan where you can have the audacity to think that both
is he playing football bloody manager? Is he playing? I mean, I love Dan, right? But is he playing football manager? Do we go for Rodrigo? We just spent like 250 million. What do we do? Do we go for Rodrigo? Do we go for Eze? I don't know. Let's go for them both, and we'll just, what should we do with Martinelli? We'll just stick him over there for the meanwhile. Come on, guys. Come on. Listen, until that deal is done and he's holding up the Arsenal shirt, I'll still hold the belief that Spurs, the longer this goes on, and Spurs don't get a left-sided player and Arsenal haven't signed him, I'll believe that there's an outside chance that he could end up at Spurs.
100%. Love to see it. That would be something. If Tottenham Hotspur, if Daniel Levy, and Vinay, whoever it is that's pulling the strings, if they were, if they were really wanting to just to smash it right now and get everybody back on side, beating the Arsenal, saying goodbye to Sonny, getting in João Palhinha, who, by the way, passed his medical, so I don't know if he'll join up for tomorrow, but it'll probably be for the game against Bayern Munich in Germany. Well, I mean, what a game! I don't even know if he'll be allowed to play in that game, will he? But maybe.
Of course he will, man. Of course he will.
Alone, yeah.
Don't injure him. Could you imagine? Yeah. Vincent Company. Right, I never liked that bastard. Go and get him. Go and get him.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But then... And then maybe but if not then maybe his debut would be in the PSG game. But
Who knows?
If the owners wanted to really just get everyone back on side, sort of demonstrate, because for the last 2 weeks the meltdown has been insane. Oh, Levy promised us trophies, all bullshit. So we spoke about this on Spurs 5. Now you got João Palhinha. If you go and get another one, a worldie in the next sort of 72 hours, not a worldie, but like a worldie for Tottenham standards, that plays as a striker or an all-round forward, like a Mikatazi, like a Gessan, like a Callum Mwendo, whatever. Someone that just gets everybody a little bit up and Rasa-tartaring again, then it'd be great. But obviously, Johnny, I completely agree, mate. The number one name that would make everybody in the fan base go, yes, please, would of course be Eberechi Eze.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, Arsenal, when you look at Arsenal, right, I think most people can agree the best defensive squad is Arsenal. And I think in midfield, they're right up there, one or two as well. Whether they've addressed this, but look, they spent good money. They got Mourinho at the end of last Zubimendi is a fantastic signing for them. Mascara is a good talent, and we all know about Gyökeres. He's getting a bit of stick at the moment, but look, they're going to carry on spending, and I believe they will end up spending around about 250 million the time they finish. But I think, guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. Helps the algorithm. Our journey to 4,000 is almost there in 2.5 months. Incredible performance. Couldn't have done it without you guys. If you are here for the first time and you haven't hit the subscribe button, guys, only about 43%, as I said, of people who watch our shows actually hit the subscribe button. Don't be fearful. It doesn't cost you any money. It just tells you when we're on, so you can always find us. So please hit the subscribe button. And if you are here for the first time, please tell us where you're from. Hi, Keddy from Brisbane. Nice to see you. It's time for us to catch the plane, Sean.
This is the turkey segment.
We're off to Saudi Arabia for the next part of the show.
Sorry, I fat fingered it. I knew where we were going. I just pushed the wrong button.
I think we caught a British Airways flight that got diverted. We started off on Turkey. We got hijacked in Turkey and diverted straight to Saudi Arabia. Do not postcode, do not collect us. Oh dear, hope you allow us off the plane.
I mean, I knew where we were going. I just hit the wrong button. Fat fingers.
Listen. So, guys, look, Darwin Nunez camp are in serious talks finally with Al Hilal. Originally, his number one choice was to go to Napoli, but the Victor Osimhen deal's taken about, 85, 100 days. That deal's been finally done with the most ridiculous deal you've ever seen for him. No wonder he went there. But the structure of the deal doesn't really give Napoli the money to spend, having bought the striker from Udinese. So Darwin Nunez camp are now in talks with Al Hilal as Liverpool remain open to selling the Uruguayan striker permanently. Talks are set to continue over the next few days, with Nunez right at the top of Al Hilal's list. Personally, Sean, I think he's better than having to go out there for this particular stage of his career. But would
you take Darwin Nunez to Tottenham?
Would I? Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you why. Because he always gets in the positions, but you need to get inside his head. Listen, another player who's going out there, despite speculation, buying a centre back. They say he's not. Florian Plettenberg is saying that Kim Min-jae is not in talks with Al Nassr, despite Al Nassr saying they're in talks with Kim Min-jae. Who do we? I mean,
listen, when the Saudi talks, I tend to pay attention. I just want before we move on, I just want to ask a quick question to the chat. Right? Can everyone just hit like a 1 and a 0, but like front run it by saying your club? Right? Tell us your club. Would you take Darwin Nunez to your club? Because Johnny thinks the guy is a monster that's waiting to explode. I think he's a donut and a bozo.
No, what I said was, what I was saying was, this is a guy that constantly gets into the right position.
Yeah, but he can't put them away because he's a terrible footballer.
Yeah, but before he got here, he couldn't stop putting them away. I think it's a mental thing. I mean, I would say 100% everyone will say no. I mean, you can understand why they'd say no. I'm just saying he needs a mental monster. He needs someone to get inside that head of his. And I just don't think Al Hilal is the place for him to go now. There's not one person, probably 5 or 6 out of 100. Guys, if you're in here, we got 600 viewing here, 600 people watching. I don't know how many likes we've got, but it's certainly not enough. So if you hit that like button, Sean, it's time to get on the plane again.
Where we go?
We are going to go to where do you like to get stuffed?
This is the turkey segment. The turkey segment of the show.
Where we go?
I feel like one of those game show guys, you know. Right, Aston Villa. Gabriel Sara is a top target for Aston Villa, with the Galatasaray midfielder possibly available for 40 million this summer. he's attracting plenty of interest from more than 4 or 5 Premier League clubs. I've got to be honest with you. I've heard of him, but I don't know a lot about him. Do you know much about him?
Nah. What's his name? Gabriel who? Sara?
Gabriel Sara. Sara. Gabriel Sara.
Don't know
40 million euros.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. What I do know is that Aston Villa are. I mean, is it Star Crow? Is it you that's? Oh, no, Stay. Sorry, it's not you. There's another guy that's an Aston Villa fan who's usually in this house in the house today. I mean, if I'm Aston Villa, mate, I think that are Aston Villa fans happy with their owners because of what they've done over the last 4 years, even though they sort of bent the rules to get themselves there.
You got to be. Listen, look. They've taken them from, in the Championship, not doing well, looking like they were going to lose Jack Grealish for a song if it hadn't been for Levy messing around. And next thing you know, they're in the Premier League. And not only they're in the Premier League, they're in the top 4. They're playing PSG. They're playing Bayern Munich. Come on. How can you not be happy? All right, the situation right now isn't the best because
that's why, though, isn't it? That's why.
Yeah, but we're talking about one incident, the VAR incident, last game of the season, and they were cheated. They were cheated. Let's be honest.
But they were cheating to get to the position they were in.
Yeah, they cheated, and they were cheated. They were cheated, and they were cheating.
Karma.
Yeah,
karma. But if they end up losing Morgan Rogers, if they end up losing Ollie Watkins, if they end up losing Emi Martinez, all because they need to get the right side of the financial line, then Villa fans no different to any other fans. They very quickly forget the journey and they think about what have you done for me lately. And I think if I'm Aston Villa right now, I'm more concerned than I am if I'm Newcastle. I'm more concerned than I am if I'm Tottenham. I'm more concerned than I am if I'm Manchester United. So I think that at the moment, Aston Villa, unless they pull a rabbit out of a hat, if it looks like the way it's going, I think Aston Villa are 8th this year.
Well, we shall see what they do. Look, they've got a good academy. They've probably got some good kids coming through that might well come to the fore. Don't worry about their academy. They've acquired some good kids, and I'm sure they'll work it out. But I haven't heard Gabriel Sara. If you are in the chat, then please let us know who Gabriel Sara is from Galatasaray. Go quickly back to Arsenal. Arsenal are keeping a very keen eye on Ibrahim Diaz, as there a chance he could leave Real Madrid this summer, with AC Milan also monitoring the situation.
Good player, good 10. Good 10.
Yeah, I mean, do they need another? I mean, are they saying that's an alternative because we know Eze can play in the 10?
Yeah.
So is that what Dan Potts is saying? Is that what Dan Potts is saying? That if Eze came in, Eze would come in as the 10, or he would rotate in the 10, and Rodrigo would go out onto that left-hand side?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are you looking at there? Another 140 million for the pair? Yep. Probably.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. But it does complete them because they then got a phenomenal midfield, a phenomenal back line. I still think their goalkeeping situation is not spectacular, if I'm entirely honest. But they've done what they've done there. They've got Kepa in, and they've got obviously their main man, Raya, who got lobbed from nearly the halfway line by Pape Sarr. You can still, and then Rodrigo obviously can play in a bit of the 9 or the false 9, and then play off the left if needed. If there was injury, we don't know what's happening with Gabriel Jesus, but I'm sitting there thinking, Arsenal needed you could make the argument that Kai Havertz is not really a good enough 10, and if something was to happen to, it's not like I'm not trying to make the argument here like, you have to factor in what happens if 3 players in the same position get injured, because then obviously you can't have 18 strikers in case 17 get injured. I 100% subscribe to that. A lot of fans forget that stuff, but if Gyökeres gets injured, then
they'll keep him. But Havertz did okay at the false 9. We saw Mourinho do okay in the false 9. So they have got options. But I hear what you're saying. I think they should keep Jesus. I mean, listen, Jesus will.
They're going to keep him. I'm just saying, but he's still in the middle of a cruciate knee ligament injury.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll see Jesus arise again till Easter. That's normally when he comes back, mate.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Here's a story. Here's a nice story and a sad story. Ipswich Town have made an offer for Como forward Ivan Azon on loan. The deal would include a buy obligation in case they get promoted to the Premier League. Valencia are also chasing Azon, but Ipswich are trying to hijack the deal. So there's a story about Como forward, but the sad story is the news that Dele Alli has been released by Como. The much anticipated comeback has sadly fallen by the wayside. It's one of the saddest stories I know. I mean, obviously it's something mental, because to go from that incredible height and the talent that he was, I mean, he could have had, if he'd have maintained that level, he probably could have had 60, 70 caps by now for England, probably more. And it just fell off of a cliff. It's such a sad, sad story. It really is a sad story that Dele Alli, I mean, I saw him in a video shoot of him wearing all these clothing at a fashion show. And I'm thinking, what are you doing, mate? You're a footballer. Get back to the football.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Too much too soon, mate. Let's call it what it is.
Too soon. And like now they're talking about him. He's going to retire. I mean, has football retired from Dele Alli, or is Dele Alli retired from football? I think that football has retired Dele Alli, unfortunately. It's really sad. I mean, he as a Spurs fan, even if you weren't a Spurs fan at the time, you know, he was such a fantastic player to watch play football. But it happens. It happens.
Happens all the time, mate. You can make the same argument for like a Jadon Sancho, couldn't you?
Well, Jadon Sancho's still playing, mate.
Or Wayne Routledge.
Well, João Felix.
Yeah, Felix. Yeah, it's the same story. So some people carry on picking up the paycheck.
Not that high, Sean. Not that high. You know, Dele Alli was really on a high. You know, he was the golden child. More goals scored than Gerrard and Lampard combined at his age, and all the records he was breaking, and it just fallen to nothing. Should we move on to Manchester City? I've just got some stories here of Manchester City. As we mentioned yesterday, despite all the links with Borussia Dortmund and other German clubs, Bayer Leverkusen, etc., Nico Riley has been confirmed, and he'll wear the number 33 shirt for Manchester City this season, which is good news because I thought it was a really good, looked a really good talent at the end of last season. But Manchester City have declared that they are prepared to sell Jack Grealish, James McAtee, and good luck with this one, Calvin Phillips this summer if they receive suitable offers for the trio. I think we mentioned yesterday Leeds Calvin Phillips potentially going back to Leeds.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if he's Premier League standard anymore, to be honest.
Me as well.
You know, but Jack Grealish, I think, will be a late transfer. I think that will happen in the last week or so. And James McAtee, I'm not sure about James McAtee, mate. I think he's a talent. He's a super talent for sure. And people that come through their academy usually go on to great things. So I've got no doubt he'll be a really good player. What level he's at, I think that maybe Nottingham Forest will push ahead, even though they're keeping Gibbs White. Would they try and go after maybe a Wolves? Wolves could maybe do with someone like that in the 10 there to come in and rotate, because I think that I don't necessarily think he's done enough to justify a starting position yet. But in any of the sort of Premier League top 12, but certainly someone who could come in and get a chance at a team around that mid, like a Fulham, something like that, and then and then do some good things. I think he's a good player, but the rest of them I think will be done late in the window. I think Calvin Phillips probably isn't going to get too many offers. He's another one, mate. He's another example of a player that was extraordinarily talented at Leeds, went to City too much too soon, put his feet up, lost interest, and it's been a shit show ever since.
It's just that's why you got to admire professionals like James Milner and many others, Jordan Henderson, who just keep ploughing away. and just give their all.
I think they appreciate how fleeting their careers are. You know, when you're 22, 23 and you've just got a big paycheck, you think you've got so much time on your side, but you know, as we both know, mate, time moves very quickly, doesn't it?
It definitely does. It definitely does. West Ham, our one of our clubs, West Ham has submitted an €8 million bid for Botafogo's monster keeper, John Victor. He's a proper monster keeper. Definitely. If you saw him in the Club World Cup, you know he's a big guy. Galatasaray and Everton are both keen on the Brazilian shot stopper after Manchester United also have looked at him in recent months. I'm not so sure about Everton. What would he do? Sign him and put him as a backup to Pickford? I'm not so sure. I can see West Ham signing him. I agree. West Ham. He's more likely to go there than to go anywhere else.
Might end up at Lyon or something, mate, you know?
Well, you never know. You never know. What other ones have we got? What other ones have we got? Have we got any other stories? I think
it's a pretty quiet day today, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think if you're in the chat, guys, should we do one for spin the wheel again, or no? Leave it.
I haven't got the spin the wheel up, mate. So we can't do it today. I haven't got the names and the teams in it. Sorry.
No. What the Turkish
teams? Yeah, I haven't got it up. I've deleted it. So
that's a shame.
We can do it tomorrow.
Let's see if there's anything else before we go.
West Ham have agreed to sign the Callum Wilson deal's done. The Here We Go is in. It's an interesting one. I think Newcastle might be regretting that soon.
Yeah. You ain't leaving. Come back. Always forgiven. Always forgiven. We didn't mean it, Callum. Isak's due back today. I mean, is he going to stay at Real Sociedad training with his old girlfriend? Do you think? Or do you think he'll actually...
No, he'll come back. He'll come back, mate. At this stage, I think he's staying at Newcastle. I think that report yesterday where they basically said that Liverpool put in a big bid and that the response that Newcastle gave them was basically, go F yourselves. You know? I think at this stage, unless it's a monster, and Newcastle need to get there... If Newcastle gets Sesko done, then maybe they'll be okay, let's do 135 plus 15 or something like that. And then they can go and get Wissa done. But I think until they get Sesko done, I don't think that they want to let him go until they know that they've got at least someone big in the replacement. So
I think West Ham are in dead stuck because Callum Wilson. Let me tell you, if Son's legs have gone, Callum Wilson's legs they don't even work. Gone. I mean, he's forever injured, and they're signing another player. First of all, they had their striker who drove into a bush, who they've not renewed.
Antonio. Yeah.
Mikel Antonio. So he's free. Spurs sign Mikel Antonio on a free. Can you imagine that one?
I can imagine Dominic Calvert-Lewin ends up.
Oh, mate, no, don't say it. I think it's most clubs' worst nightmare that they've been linked to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 28.
He'll end up somewhere, mate. I think he'll end up somewhere at I think
West Korea, mate. Go to Korea.
Yeah. Should we leave it there, mate?
Just to say, Brentford have appointed and named Nathan Collins as their new captain of the club. And I think that's a good deal. Rodgers, just to say, Celtic are getting a lot of stick right now for not signing players. I think they're in a bit of a panic because the 49ers group have taken over at Rangers, and they're only two matches, well, not two games, but two teams, two ties, should I say, away from making the Champions League. They've signed Mikey Moore on a loan. They haven't signed many big players. Look like they're going to sign Pussy from Manchester City, isn't it, Pussy? I think they need some players, mate. They need some players. You're going to be in the Champions League. They need some players. Wolves are just announced. Wolves have completed the deal finally to sign AZ Alkmaar's left back, David Wolf. We saw him, if you're a Spurs fan, you would have seen him play at left back for AZ Alkmaar for £10 million plus £2 million in add-ons. Sign a 5-year deal. That's not a bad deal, is it, for a left back? Young left back.
He's a decent player. Decent player from what I remember. I thought he did okay.
No, it didn't do bad. Guys, we're going to call it there. We're going to call it there. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you're here for the first time. And thanks, guys. We will definitely see you tomorrow. There's the game tomorrow. Is at 12 o'clock, isn't it, Sean? Tomorrow?
I think so, yeah, there is. There's a couple of super chats, guys. I've got to get to Morton Barley. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you very much. Ulrika's G&T means goalkeeper and trainer. 100%.
In the bath with the goalkeeper and trainer.
He's after. This is what Ulrika does. Ulrika does that, doesn't she? Good to see you, Mort. Thank you, mate. And also Jesse Joachim or Jesse Joachim. $4.49.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for picking you up as well. Appreciate you very, very much, Jesse. Appreciate you all as always, guys. We're going to hand you over to another channel that's playing right now, which is the Hotspur Hood, Dan E of the Hotspur Hood. So please smash in the Football Inc. raid into the chat as we send you over there. Thank you so much for your attention this afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow. And as always, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from him. And goodbye from him. Yes, buddy! I'm quiet.
See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.